Hello and welcome to Are You Not Entertained? My name is Maximus Cardillo, and today's podcast is all about my experience making my first ever feature film. I am joined by the associate producer of the movie, Alexandria. In the podcast, we're going to talk all about our trials, our tribulations, and all things surrounding making a feature film in your early 20s, 100% independently. Without further ado, here's the podcast. Okay, so let me paint this picture for you. It is my senior year of college, and me and my group have to make a short film as our final project to graduate with our film degrees. And now by this point, I've already made a dozen short films. So the fact that the final project of college was to make your first ever short film was like, kind of, I don't know how to word this without sounding like arrogant, but like low bar, like easy, if you will, without sounding too arrogant. Like I've made a dozen already, so making everything in college led up to making one short film.
Yeah, kind of disappointing.
It was like disappointing to me. So I remember we were just getting done Kingdom Eternal. For everybody listening who's not familiar, Kingdom Eternal is about like a 20-minute short film we made. It's on my YouTube channel, Maximus Cardillo. It's around like October. So we're wrapping up that, and that's about to be posted for Halloween. And then I gotta do a quick turnaround, and I gotta start piecing together an idea for this short film for college. And now I always turned things around for college, like to benefit me and to benefit Broken House and our film aspirations and everything like that. Like I didn't just do projects to get a grade, if that makes any sense. Like I always was like, okay, if I make a project for school and I'm going to use all these hours on it, I'm not just doing it for the grade. Like I want to make something good that can go to festivals, that can get, us recognition. So I start to percolate with this idea in my head. What could we make for this short film? Because I know whatever it is, it's going to be my next short film that I release publicly on the internet. And by this point, I've already accumulated a little following that follows all my films and everything. So now this is where I need you to remind me, Alexandria, when did you tell me about Do Not Read This Poem?
Well, if I teach it in October...
Oh, there you go.
There you
go. Okay, I just...
End of September.
I wanted you to hold me accountable because I want to try and tell this story as chronologically as possible, because we've never actually sat down since production has wrapped and told the whole story sequentially.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I guess I ought to mention this, we're actually in the middle of a road trip right now. That's why we're in a moving car. I should have probably opened the podcast with that. We just randomly are in this setting, if you're watching the visual, and if you're hearing some noise in the background, that is it's because we're on a road trip. Anyway, I digress. Back to the story I was just telling. So yeah, it's about October, so my timeline works out. That's when Alexandria teaches her students about Do Not Read This Poem. Now, Do Not Read This Poem is a poem released, correct me if I'm wrong, in the late 60s.
Mm-hmm.
By
Ishmael Reed.
Right, Ishmael. I want to say Ishmael B. Who's Ishmael B?
A long way gone.
Wait, so this guy's also Ishmael?
Ishmael Reed.
Oh,
I know,
I
it's
knew
so similar.
it was Ishmael. Okay, so this poem, well, I guess this is where I hand it off to you. What's this poem about? It's temptation and...
Yeah, all about temptation, but there's lots of layers. It opens up about a thriller movie. It's funny because my kids still talk about it to this day. Literally today they were talking about it still. Talks about this thriller, which is about a woman who keeps herself indoors because she doesn't really communicate with society and is very about her own self, and she surrounds herself with mirrors because she's very vain. And then the next layer of the poem, because I said it's multi-layered, is the poem talking to the reader itself, and then it starts talking about the poem itself. So it's like the poem is talking about the poem.
It's very meta.
Yes. And then it basically gives this last final layer where it says that people have been missing because they've been reading this poem, and you've given into your temptations to read something that told you not to read it.
So she teaches that to her students because she's a high school teacher. And then she comes home and she tells me all about the whole thing. And I'm like, ooh, wait a minute. So it goes on to tell these like anecdotal stories about people who like gave in to like temptation and gave in to these vices, whether it be vanity or what have you. And I was really high on The Substance at this time. The Substance is a fairly recent horror movie that released. Now, at the time of this story that I'm telling you guys, the movie's probably been out a year. So it's a year old by this point. So I'm still obsessed with that movie, Substance. I had just watched The Shining for the first time. So there's like a reoccurring theme here. And not to mention, I had just watched Christine for my Halloween horror movie watch-along, horror-thon that I do. And so the reoccurring theme is this temptation and this corruption of good. So The Substance, it centers around this woman, this really pretty woman who is seeking her glory days. Like she feels like she's, growing too old. So she takes the substance to gain her vanity back, just like the poem kind of.
Right.
And then The Shining is about this hotel that corrupts Jack Torrance, and it totally turns him into this average guy into this evil entity. And the same thing with Christine. It's about this character AYNE, which, that's where I got the name for Arnie O'Brien from our movie, because it's totally inspired by the Arnie Cunningham character from Christine, who is totally consumed and corrupted by this possessed car that he winds up buying. So I have all these ideas of corruption and all of these ideas of temptation, especially because of the story, the poem that she's teaching. So I remember approaching the guys in my group, and I was like, we should do a short about like a vinyl, this old thing, this relic from the past that our character listens to, and then it totally possesses them or it corrupts them somehow, some way. And I remember it was originally a vinyl. Did you know this?
What was originally a vinyl?
The relic from the past that the movie was going to be about.
Oh.
Instead of a VHS tape.
I don't remember. You might have briefly mentioned that.
Well, that didn't obviously wind up happening because in the movie, it's a VHS tape.
Right.
So we eventually settle on a VHS tape because we figured that film is more of a visual medium, so it would probably be cooler if we use VHS rather than vinyl. Plus, we knew that our professor was really big into found footage, and I forget what he called it. He makes these movies outside of school, schlockhouse movies, where it's all VHS and grainy Super 8 footage, grindhouse kind of stuff. So we knew we'd probably get extra points from the professor if we did it in that style. And we also wound up hiring like an actress that he's friends with. So long story short, we make this short, Do Not Watch. And basically this short is a proof of concept for the feature film that we would go on to make that winter. So we make that all throughout the fall, and basically it serves as a proof of concept. I think we filmed it actually in December, if I'm not mistaken, right before Christmas break. So I wrote it, got it all prepared in the fall, then we shot it in December, and all during the time that we're working on the short, I'm writing the feature, because I always had it in the back of my head that I was going to turn this thing into a feature, because I was, like I mentioned, I was disappointed that the final project of college was making a short. So I challenged myself to make a feature. And really who got me to do it was you. Because, do you remember what you told me?
I remember telling you, why don't you just make a full-length movie? Because I'm like, you record so much, you could turn all of your stuff into the full hour and a half, 2 hours.
So
So,
basically, she challenged me. Like, the verbiage that she used in the moment was different than what she just said.
mhm,
It was like a challenge. It was like, you should just do it. Like, why don't you just do it?
yeah. I just knew that you could. That's why I said to do it.
And so I took it as a challenge, and I started developing Do Not Watch This Film, which is the feature film adaptation of Do Not Watch. There is a lot of differences between Do Not Watch and Do Not Watch This Film. Now, at the time of recording this podcast, Do Not Watch This Film hasn't been released to the public yet. So, we're gonna kind of talk about the movie in a non-spoilery way, and hopefully get you guys excited to watch the movie when it comes out June 12th, live on my YouTube channel at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. So the main differences, I'd say, is obviously the feature film, we have way more time to fill, way more time to tell a story. So the AYNE character and the Henry characters are way more fleshed out. In the feature film, the Henry character is portrayed more as this, how do I word it? Like an everyday man. Like, he drives a beat up pickup truck, like we show that in the movie.
Right.
He paints things. He doesn't have social media. He doesn't like to use his phone.
Mhm.
He's very much
Traditional.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. And AYNE is like the other side of this spectrum. He is this tech genius who, at the beginning of the movie, has just successfully sold this AI model that he developed to Google. So he's found himself with all of this money. He winds up buying his first ever house with the money he acquired from selling this AI that he developed. And in this home that he purchases, he finds this VHS tape labeled "Do Not Watch This Film." And he doesn't want to watch it at first. As him and Henry discover this tape as they're moving, as Henry's helping AYNE move into the house, AYNE's like, yeah, no, let's just put that to the side. Meanwhile, Henry is that temptation. As he is in the short, that's where they're similar. He's that temptation, that friend that's like nudging him, like, watch it, do it. But AYNE holds out. He doesn't do it until eventually, some time goes by in the movie, and AYNE is basically guilt-tripped and convinced into watching it one late night. And then that's when this whole evolution of the AYNE character unfolds, and he goes down this rabbit hole, down this dark and evil path. Now, the way that production started on Do Not Watch This Film, I believe it was late January, and we started with the narrator shots. So, in the movie, there is this omnipotent narrator. Now, this narrator, in storyline, it is implied that he is the creator of the original VHS tape that AYNE finds, and that all of the narration that precedes the narrator showing up on screen finally is all warnings to the viewer of the tape. But in this meta way, the narrator is warning the viewer of the film. So it's like a film within a film kind of a thing happening, because the VHS tape in, sequential order is in the film, and then obviously you're watching the film on YouTube when it comes out. I don't know if that made sense in how I explained that, but if you get it, you get it. You'll understand it when you watch it. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. I don't think that was a bad job.
Okay, that's what I was looking for. So we started with that stuff, and that the person who played the narrators, our good friend Austin, who usually does our still photography, behind the scenes photography. So I asked him to step up to the plate and try his hand at acting, and all that went like really well. I remember decorating this little part of my dad's house with all these VHS tapes, all these books. We even hid "Do Not Watch" or "Do Not Read This Poem" in the stack of books.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember that?
Mm-hmm.
We like made all these.
Made a bunch of
Yeah.
book covers.
We made a bunch of fake book covers. What is that? Is that your friends driving next to us?
Yep.
What are the odds of that on this road trip that we catch up to them?
I knew when I saw those kayaks, I'm like, wait, they were bringing kayaks, and I'm like, I bet it's them. And
No
it was.
way. How? We're
That's
like
so
in the
funny.
middle of Pennsylvania driving on this road trip right now. And you just happen to find your
That's
friends?
so
That's
funny.
crazy. So I remember set dressing this scene with all these like fake book covers. Like we didn't actually own all of these books that we wanted to pay homage to. So we just made like fake book covers.
Right.
And yeah, so that day went really well. I tried to keep it light on the first day to kind of ease into production. And this production is way different than the movie that we're currently filming right now, 29 Seconds to Midnight, our second feature film, because we had every date planned from the beginning all the way through production, all the way to the end.
Yeah, it was very structured.
Like, it was nuts. We had... Is that them riding next to us? We had every Saturday booked from January, the end of January, to June. Because everybody works full time. You know, we're all, full time workers. We're not filmmakers full time. Like I said, to start this whole podcast off, this is an independent film made by a bunch of 20-year-olds. So we set aside Saturdays from the end of January all the way till June. And we, believe it or not, stuck to every Saturday throughout that whole time period. It's actually kind of crazy that we were able to lock off the amount of people that we did, how we did it.
Yeah.
So the way that we were able to do it, if you remember, we had two crews, an A crew and a B crew.
Mm-hmm.
Because I knew I couldn't work the same crew every weekend this whole time. It just was unethical. It would have been crazy.
Mm-hmm.
So I got some people from my college that I had classes with, that I collaborated with to make the short film version of this. And I made sure before the semester ended to reach out to as many people in the film department as possible. Hey, we're making a feature. Hey, we're making a feature. Would you like to film a feature film? Hey, we're all graduating soon. Do you want to film a feature before we graduate college? Because I knew if I could get these college students who just want to get the experience and their names out there, that would be our way to get people who were willing to work without being paid. Because obviously, like I said, this is no budget. I didn't have any funds to pay the cast or the crew. So we got some people to sign on, enough people to where I could do crew A and a crew B. And so we wind up filming the first, I want to say 3 or 4 weeks. Went super, super smooth. We filmed crew A, crew B, all and off.
Mm-hmm.
Until that one day. You know where I'm going with this?
Nope.
When all of the footage corrupted.
Oh. Forgot about that.
Did you?
Yeah.
I could never forget. That's burned into my brain. The fact that all...
Well, we came back so strong. That's why it's like it never even happened.
Yeah, but in the moment it was
terrible.
It was heart-wrenching.
It was terrible, yeah.
So we make it 4 weeks into production. And I edit as I go because I'm also the editor as well as the writer and the director. So we record, I wind up throwing it in a timeline. Meanwhile, for some more context and backstory, I never used DaVinci Resolve, okay? I never edited on it, never opened the application before in my life. But for this movie, I knew that I wanted to take it to the next level. I wanted to use a higher end editing program and editing suite with color grade and everything all built into the one suite. So I upgraded to DaVinci. So I'm basically, long story short, I'm editing the movie as we go. So I had 4 weeks of footage edited. And it's looking really good. We're all excited, the cast and the crew. And then I remember one day before filming on week 5, which week 5 we're supposed to film like a crucial scene. The scene where Arnie, the character of Arnie O'Brien, the main character, finally succumbs and he decides to watch the tape. And I pull up the editing software and I show everybody. And I remember the timeline slowly fading away. It was like the weirdest thing because I was watching it corrupt in real time. So we're watching the timeline, but slowly the footage would glitch and it wouldn't, like, I would rewind it and it wouldn't go back until eventually the whole timeline was just corrupted. The whole cast, the whole crew gathered around the monitor and we're all screaming and cursing and we're trying to like back it up. We're trying to search for everything on my SSD to no avail. Like a fucking fluke happened. Like this thing that never happens happened.
Yeah.
It completely deleted everything. So, you know, it was gut-wrenching. We're about to get ready for week 5. We're going to take like 5 minutes to watch the stuff we filmed last week, roughly thrown together in the timeline, and it all just got deleted. So, this was like a really challenging point as like a director, because I had to like somehow keep the morale high while also holding my composure that 4 weeks of filming has just been deleted in a blink of an eye. And so I try and maintain this level of composure. I don't know how well I did.
I mean, you didn't even want to tell people at first. Like,
I didn't?
no. You just wanted to just keep moving, just keep doing it, and you wanted to like think about how you were going to tell certain people to redo parts.
Yeah,
But
because some people...
you didn't want everyone to know it automatically because you thought people would just be like kind of giving up or something.
Yeah, because I didn't want to give this crew from college, all these people that like first time collaborating with, the idea that we were amateur, the idea that we were like not serious or didn't know what we were doing.
Right.
So I didn't want to like just say, hey, like everything corrupted from the last 4 weeks. So hey, remember that schedule that we set aside every Saturday up until June that you guys all greenlit and said you're good for those dates and you set those aside in your calendars? Well, let's tack on 4 extra weeks.
Right.
And now you got to set those Saturdays aside.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and it just wasn't a good feeling. It wasn't a good look. But somehow we got it all to work. And that day of the corruption, we actually somehow changed the whole vibe, the morale, and we actually wound up shooting the scene where Arnie watches the tape. Believe it or not. That was like a moment where like you have 2 options. You can crumble, curse your head off, and totally fold and don't get anything productive done.
Mm-hmm.
Or you could, you know, bite the bullet, put your head down in the dirt, and just do the work as planned previously.
Right.
And just know that eventually, hey, we're going to have to go back and film those 4 scenes. And that's what we did. Meanwhile, I have to be completely transparent. My mind was completely elsewhere while I was directing the scene of that day, which wasn't the greatest, which is why we wound up doing pickups of that day, reshoots of that day that I'm talking about. But yeah, a lot of trials, a lot of tribulations, especially for somebody, you know, doing their first ever feature film. The idea of that all being shot in B-raw, if you guys know anything about film, Blackmagic raw footage is just an ungodly amount of storage. Like, it takes up so much. Like, a 2-minute clip, 4K B-raw log footage is probably like 9 gigs, no joke.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's absolutely nuts. So, we wind up doing pretty good, I feel like, for the next 6 months. We filmed every week. We didn't really miss anything. Somehow, the cast and the crew were always able to make it. And as if Crew A couldn't make it, I feel like Crew B would step in. And sometimes they would do back-to-back weeks. And then Crew A would make up for it later down the line.
Mm-hmm.
But we always knew that Saturdays were our day.
Yeah.
And I think that's really what helped us. We always knew that Saturday was the day that we all had to get together again. How did you think it went? Did you think it went pretty smoothly? Especially for being our first time. Like, we only did shorts up until this point.
I mean, it really was a miracle that we were able to stick to that schedule. And I just think that goes to show how important it is to have a schedule and write down the dates and all of that and be organized. Because this, you know, next time that we were filming, we didn't go through that same process. So you
what,
kind
29
of
seconds a minute?
Yeah, you could
Well, that
see,
was a totally different story.
you could see how, you know, having all those concrete dates.
Well,
know,
no,
people will
what
make
really
the time.
helped was the 2 crews.
Yeah.
We don't have 2 crews this time
No,
around for this
right.
movie. That's why we couldn't do it.
Yeah.
So, yeah. We're like almost done production on our second feature film. So retrospectively looking back on Do Not Watch This Film is, I don't know, it feels weird. How does it feel to you? It feels weird for me to look back on it compared to what we're doing right now, currently, and the whole way that this production has played out as compared to Do Not Watch This Film.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot different, but I feel like we knew we were going to take that approach from day one. Like, I remember us talking about it, saying, like, we wanted to take our time with this instead of making it so strict
Right.
to the fact that, like, if
Right.
we shot something and didn't love it, like, I feel like we kind of just used everything with Do Not Watch This Film, where with this one, it's like we're taking more time to be like, all right, if everyone's not in the right headspace, we're going to take a moment and come back to this instead of forcing everything. And I think the quality aspect is really going to come through with that because, you know, we're not on this tight deadline where it's like we don't have a choice. I think we have more of a choice this time. Get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I totally agree with that 100%. That's not to say that Do Not Watch This Film is of lesser quality.
No,
I
it's
think
better
it's-
quality. I'm saying it's more quality.
No,
No,
you're
Do Not Watch This
completely
Film.
up
I got
opposites.
you, I got you.
Now we're getting confused because we're talking about the movie we just made
because
compared
they're
to.
so having that schedule is so important and does so much good. But at the same time, you know,
it's a give and a take. It's like abide by the
different
rules. Abide by the rules until it's time to break the rules. So yes, abide by the schedule until you need to. How do I want to word this? I think it's how I've grown as a director and as a filmmaker. So what Alexandria is trying to say and what we're trying to say is that in Do Not Watch This Film, I stayed very strict to my schedule. So if I planned on getting scenes 1 and 2 done in this night, in this 4-hour span, we were going to get it done, no matter the quality. You know what I mean? Like we're obviously going to shoot for the best quality.
yeah.
But like, I would spend way more time this time around with this key light or with this performance. But back then, on my first feature film, Do Not Watch This Film, I'd be like, let's go, get it. You got one take left, we got to move on. Very much in the mindset of truck forwards.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think a lot of that was it was almost fear driven. I was like,
Yeah.
if we don't get this movie done by June, all these people are going to graduate
Yeah.
from college and they're going to move on and we're going to have zero crew.
Yeah.
So that's why I was really, focused on getting it done. And we did for the most part.
Yeah.
We did get it all good, really good in the first take. So let's transition and let's talk about performances. We had Fiona, who this was our first time interacting with her, our first time interacting with Ven. So Ven played the character of Tommy, and Fiona wound up playing the character of Violet. Right, I'm gonna keep wanting to say her name in the movie that we're doing right now. And so Violet is the love interest to Henry, and now that is another portion of the story that is vastly different than the short. In this one, Henry has a love interest, and that is really what sets Henry apart from Arnie. He has this love interest. He has this ability to connect deeply with, other human beings, whereas Arnie is this sedentary, he's almost like a hermit.
He's cold.
He's very cold. He's very removed from reality as we know it. He's very existential. The whole thing with Arnie O'Brien in the feature film is that he doesn't believe in this physical world. He doesn't believe in human connection. He believes that it is all just a chemical reaction. They're all just chemicals. He literally says that in the movie. And he's always striving for more. And the reason why he's always striving for more, you come to find out in the movie, is that his parents passed away when he was younger. In a car accident, they both passed away. And Arnie lost both of his parents at a very young age. So that gave him this very bleak outlook on life. So he uses his smarts and his brilliance to kind of transcend reality as we know it. The whole thing in the movie is that he's working with signals to come up with this new way of interacting with the world. That's why we see him at the beginning of the movie with that helmet on. He calls it his signal splitter. He's trying to combine these signals from smartphones and televisions and radios and all these things into one streamlined, potent signal that he could send out to everybody. And the final piece of the puzzle was that VHS tape that he finds in the beginning of Do Not Watch This Film. And that is what allows him to create his signal. He basically synthesizes the VHS tape and brings it from the 20th century to the 21st century and upgrades it with his AI and with modern tech. And and that's where the AYNE character is pretty much pitted against the Henry character. The battle of ideologies. Henry wants to stay fixed in this physical reality and make the best of this human connection, whereas AYNE wants to advance the human race. He wants to transcend the human body, and he wants to give everybody life eternal. He wants to make everybody immortal, basically, through the advent of technology. So that's kind of where the story, that's where the heart of the story is, I want to say. And boy, did we get some performances. I mean, AYNE acted his ass off. Sal, it's the first time he's ever acted in anything on screen. He was like a dead body in a couple of our short films and stuff like that, but he's never acted on screen. I mean, I was blown away by Sal's acting.
Yeah, he did a really good job staying in character. Even when we were not filming, I felt like he didn't want to let go of his character, and that really helped. I think he really had fun with this, and he really understood who he was supposed to be. And he just did a good job with his voice and his emoting and everything. I mean, even despite all the trauma with the blood and gore and special effects that we had to put on him and him getting beat
tell
up.
everybody about the contact situation.
Yeah,
So throughout the story, everybody, when they watch this signal, the VHS tape or AYNE's synthesized version of the signal, their brain goes into this transcendent plane, kind of like this psychedelic realm where you're transcendent of your body, but your body is still like on Earth. It goes into this paralysis, if you will, and your eyes roll back into your head and your eyes go pure white. So the way we achieved that was with contact lenses. Mm-hmm. So that's the backstory for what you're about to say.
So, yeah, like what I'm saying about the torturous aspects.
Torturous is an understatement.
We had to put the contacts in for people if they couldn't do them themselves, and most of the people we had for this never wore contacts before, so this was really a hard...
Right, we should have cast the people who had contact lenses. I mean, everybody was new to contacts.
Yes.
And struggled with them.
Yes.
Fiona struggled. Lucas was the only one that could do it himself, I feel like. Everybody struggled, Salvi especially.
And it's it's not even just putting contacts in, it's because you're also getting blood near your eyes and in your eyes, and you're also like trying to act and remember everything you're supposed to do and the time and the place where you're supposed to be. And, also we were on a strict schedule, so timing was a big thing. And when it took minutes and like going on 30 minutes trying to put one eye in, it just, was a struggle, especially
when it started to take 30 minutes per eye, per contact, what happened?
You came in and
you called me in.
Yeah.
It was like,
would just make it happen.
So the way that it would happen is our makeup artist, Ashley, was putting the contacts in with the help of Alexandria in all of our performers' eyes. It looked like we were
performing a surgery.
Yeah, like they would lay them down on the couch. Alexandria would gently pry open their eyelids, and Ashley would ever so gently put the contact
and
try and drop
careful,
it in. It seemed to me like you were, because when I came over after 45 minutes of trying to put the contacts in Salvi's eyes,
it's also like
I came over, grabbed him by the eyelashes, the bottom and the top, and I ripped his eyes open because I knew we weren't going to make our day if we kept on waiting for him to get these contacts in.
I mean, these people's eyes were raw. Like, the amount of times we had to try to put them in over and over and over, and it coming halfway in and out and flipping and all this craziness. It was just terrible. But just to wrap up Salvi's character, like, if and when you watch this movie, you will have certain emotions towards Salvi that's undeniable. And, that's why he did such a good job, because you'll be left with these emotions towards him. I don't want to give away what emotions, but like everybody says it the way that they feel about this character after the movie's done. He really makes you feel a way about him.
Yeah, I remember
So.
you specifically having this vitriol.
Yeah.
You had this really raw reaction to Arnie, especially with some of the ways that I would edit some of the scenes and the way that just Sal performed it.
Yeah.
He does a great job. So when you guys do not watch this film, keep an eye out for Sal. You can't miss it. His performances are undeniable.
Yeah.
I mean, he goes from crying to yelling to screaming to just this really raw, unfiltered performance that is unbelievable that it's his first time ever acting in anything ever.
Yeah, he's been waiting to just roll with
He's been
it.
chomping at the bit.
He's been hiding in the back this whole time.
The good thing was that he was in the short. So, you know, I was able to develop this character with him for months before we started shooting the feature. So he had a good understanding of the Arnie O'Brien character. So we had some great performances, not to mention Henry did a great job. Henry, played by Colin, was the perfect foil for Arnie O'Brien. Because Arnie is this over-the-top kind of a, you know, sadistic kind of a guy, you know, towards the end especially. But Henry was always, he played it like the straight man. Like, he's this grounded guy who kind of just, you know, has his girlfriend, he has his hobby, and he's just trying to be there for his friend Arnie. He knows that Arnie is this, you know, he's not the most popular guy, and he's always trying to help him out, invite him out, you know, trying to get him outside, trying to get him to do things, and, you know, it kind of bites him in the ass. But Colin did a great job playing the straight man, I think. And I think the way that their dynamic is, it all culminates in that third act. I mean, that final act in the basement, I think that was a testament to Colin's performance and Sal's performance. I mean, it really all is on display there in that final struggle there in the end.
Yeah.
Not to mention the
effects. Hard not to give away anything.
Yeah, not to mention the effects. I mean, Ashley friggin' murdered this movie.
Yeah.
Shout out Ashley. The special effects in Do Not Watch This Film are killer. Now, there is a scene, and now this could be it's not a spoiler because I'm not going to tell you how she gets there, but it's like, and it's probably going to wind up being the thumbnail of the damn thing, where this character has maggots eating her eyeballs out of her head, where her two hands absolutely start to fuse to her smartphone.
Talk about torturous. Jeez.
And her phone becomes one with her body.
That was the time.
So, this movie is very much a body horror subgenre. Like, the way that the eyes roll in the back of the head, you're bleeding from every orifice. You know, your eyes, your nose, your mouth, your ears. And then this character that I'm mentioning, she's getting maggots eating out her stomach and eating out her eyes. And that makeup was very torturous. I mean, she started to have a full-on panic attack in the makeup. Do you remember this?
Yeah, it was rough. Because her eyes were sealed shut and she had just stuff covering her entire body. And it took hours and hours first to apply all the makeup and special effects and then to film it. And to film it right took a long time.
Because for context, I was going for this metamorphosis, right? So another movie that I was watching, in the plethora of movies that I was watching to get inspired to make my first feature, I mentioned movies like The Substance, The Shining, Christine, all these movies about corruption, right? Well, a big one that I left off that list that I failed to mention earlier on is The Fly. Jeff Goldblum's Oscar-winning performance, the movie directed by David Cronenberg in the 90s, The Fly. So, and there's this great metamorphosis using practical makeup where Jeff Goldblum's character starts to transform into this fly. And so I wanted to do my own version of a metamorphosis. So we show this character from like stage A and then all the way through. You know what I mean? Like the first stage and all the way through until full decomposition. Her body completely enters rigor mortis. We actually referenced real corpse pictures and things that you know, have been used on FBI cases and crime cases. I remember sitting there with Ashley and just looking at these corpses and trying to map out how exactly we were going to do the rigor and mortis, how exactly we were then going to adapt it to be my version, my interpretation of the decomposition based on the signal and the reason why the person is in this paralysis state,
right.
Which the reason it being is AYNE's signal. So yeah, a lot of research went into that aspect of it. We can't overlook that. Not to mention the makeup that Ashley did for the amazing fight scene at the end of Do Not Watch This Film. I mean, this fight scene, would you say it's the best fight scene that we've done so far? I mean, it's up there with Illusion of Time, but this is way more of a... Illusion of Time was a lot of one-oneers. Like, just, like, this was actually cut into shots and dramatic. And
it's hard to...
And it's cross-cut with that other scene, the New Year's Eve scene.
Yeah, those two are both so good. It's hard for me to pick a favorite, but this one with the special effects definitely...
Yeah, we actually exploded a CRT TV for this movie. And I use the word explode because, and that's not hyperbole or anything. We legitimately exploded this TV. I mean, the thing literally went kaboom. My entire house shook from the base. I mean, it was nuts. You remember it.
I can't forget it. I mean,
you remember it probably better than me because I was in the room. I was in ground zero.
You were like in it, like filming, like you weren't even like experiencing it.
Yeah, apparently upstairs where she was, she felt the house shake.
I was not going to be involved with that part.
Yeah, she refused to be.
I exited immediately.
Because
I started looking up. Because, okay, we were going to explode this thing, not thinking anything about it. No one did any research.
Was this pre-planned? I can't remember. I don't know if I planned this. I think I just said, let's explode this thing.
I forget, honestly.
I don't think I pre-visited at all.
Either way, there was not much research done in exploding a TV. And so as they're all setting up for it...
Because I had the idea on the moment. Right there. I was like, let's explode this thing.
As they're all setting up for it, I'm on Google, like, is it okay to explode it like a TV and all this stuff?
It's not.
And it came up like highly dangerous, like the fumes, all this stuff that could happen. And I'm like, I'm going to be upstairs. And so I was, very, very worried for all of them being down there so close within it because they're in the basement, but then in a little room inside the basement. So it's like they were very close contact with this thing, not knowing what it was going to do. They were in short sleeves and shorts, like no one was protected, no safety goggles, no gloves, no nothing.
Indie filmmaking, baby.
And so, I went upstairs and I just remember sitting at the kitchen table waiting for this thing to go off. And when it did, I kid you not, the house shook. Like, the house shook. It was the loudest thing I ever heard. And then complete silence. You could have heard a pin drop. It was complete silence
it literally
for
shocked
a while.
Us. It shocked us.
It literally,
we were in shock.
I think it literally did.
Because like we felt the explosion pulse right through our bodies.
Silence after that, and I was like, I can't believe like they all just died down there. Like
you actually thought
I absolutely thought, oh my God, they are all dead right now. And I remember just sitting there like, what am I gonna do? And then, a couple seconds that felt like hours went by, and I heard you guys running up the stairs with this thing in your hands. Meanwhile, it's steaming, it's hot, it's heavy as hell. They're all trying to grab this thing and go up the steps with it.
It was just me and Logan. We were the only two that volunteered to carry that thing.
It was terrifying. And
because of all the chemicals.
They put it outside, so the chemicals didn't continue to evade the area.
So, if I remember correctly, we didn't plan it. I don't remember pre-visiting, like, I'm going to blow up a TV. Maybe I had the thought, like, in passing when I was thinking about the choreography for the fight.
Right.
But, like, it was never planned. So in the moment, I'm like, okay, how are we going to do it? Like, we can't actually put Sal's head through this. Because the glass on that thing is about, like...
It's thick.
It's like an inch.
It's thick.
It's like an inch thick, these old-ass TVs. And the TV itself is probably about 55, 60 pounds, right? Or more. It honestly might be a 100-pound TV.
Oh, yeah.
It might actually be a 100-plus pound TV.
I would absolutely say that. Because
huge TV.
You could pick me up easily.
Yeah, we struggled with the TV. Because it's awkward. It's just so wide and long. And so I see the boom pole. We take the mic off of it. And we had mannequins on the set because Arnie had all these mannequins. Like, it was all his set dressing.
Right.
So basically, Alexandria also cuts hair on the side. So I get her to do Arnie's haircut on the mannequin. We made sure it was a black-haired mannequin. I wind up duct taping the mannequin head to the end of the boom pole. I wind up getting in position with the head like a javelin. Meanwhile, I grab Logan, our gaffer. I give him a 30-pound dumbbell from the gym in my dad's basement. And we somehow time this to where he throws this 30-pound dumbbell through the glass at the same time that I throw the mannequin head as a javelin.
Yeah.
And so the idea is I'm going to hide the weight with the mannequin head so you don't see the weight go through the TV. You just see the head go through the TV. And we had one take.
You had one shot.
One shot.
And I think everyone knew that and made it work.
Somehow, with this one take, we blew up the TV and I hid the weight with the mannequin head perfectly. And it was also, I think, the way that we positioned the camera in this close-up shot on the screen. And the TV was on, by the way, which is probably why the explosion was as loud as it was, because it was carrying a voltage.
Well, yeah, that's why when I looked it up, it said, you know, if you're going to do something to a TV, make sure it was sitting
off for like a day or a couple hours at least.
Days. And we had it running for hours.
Yeah.
So
it was fully charged up, which made the explosion that much louder. I mean, I hope it comes across in the movie when you guys watch it on June 12th.
I don't,
but
you know, there's no way to really explain this.
I mean,
how it really was.
Yeah. Arnie's head goes through the TV screen and it blows up. Like, think Stu Macher from Scream, but like times 10. It was nuts. And it was all done practically. Everything was done practically. The maggots in the eyes. I mean, we literally covered the actress's eyes in latex. Everything was done practically. We you know, molded her hands together with latex. She couldn't use her hands. She couldn't see. The TV exploded for real. There's this location where we're on this rusty train. We're on the roof of this rusty train. And we're legitimately on the roof of that train. And it was very compromised. All rusted out. Like, we could have fallen through at any moment. Everything was done very risky, all practical. But hey, in my opinion, that's what indie filmmaking is all about. So I hope you guys go check out Do Not Watch This Film. It was a great experience. So the movie originally premiered in an AMC movie theater in New Jersey, around where we filmed the thing. And it was a private screening for friends and for family, the cast and the crew, and all of their extended family and friends. So we had a sold-out movie theater of 150 people at the AMC the day before Halloween. And it was a crazy experience watching my first feature film on a movie theater screen in an AMC. I mean, my first feature film was in an AMC movie theater with a sold-out, like, there was no open seats. I mean, it was nuts. What was that like for you? Because for me, it was almost overwhelming. Like, I didn't comprehend it.
Yeah, it was tough because we were definitely in business mode.
Oh, 100%. Like, we had people show up with +1s who weren't on the guest list, and we only had 150 seats. You know what I mean? So if anybody extra showed up, like, there was nowhere for them to sit.
Yeah.
So we wound up having people, like, in standing room only in the back of the theater for the hour-and-a-half runtime of this movie.
Yeah.
It was nuts that we had people actually standing the whole time watching.
Yeah, it came together really well. It was definitely a chaotic moment, and I feel like you were so focused on, like, everything else that you couldn't even enjoy the experience. But,
well, I had never run a movie theater before.
Yeah.
Like, I'd never had a movie theater play my movie, so I never was familiar with the way that the projectionist plays the movie.
Yeah.
At exactly this time. Like, I wish,
it was
like,
nerve-wracking.
I never even really spoke to the management of the AMC.
Right.
Like, the connection that I have that owns the AMC all handled everything on the back end of it.
Right.
I just had to deliver them the DCP file that goes into the projector. So, like, I was never in communication with the projectionist. So like I was like, hey, I'd like to say a few words before the projectionist plays the movie. So I was running back and forth trying to talk to management, telling them like, give me 5 minutes, I'll cue the projectionist. And then I had people like calling me over, like, hey Max, I came to see your movie. I'm like, are you on the guest list? No. I'm trying to tell them like you had to RSVP. So, and then I'm trying to give this heartfelt speech at the beginning of it. Needless to say, I am going to be better prepared for this October when we show 29 Seconds to Midnight in the theater.
Mm-hmm.
I'll have everything squared away.
Yeah. We also showed the short in Philly, didn't we?
We showed the short. Yes, the short film of Do Not Watch This Film actually premiered at a film festival. So I knew once that premiered and it did rather well in this film festival in Philadelphia where it screened, I knew that the thing could be turned into a feature. And I know that everybody is going to have a good time with it, regardless of if you love it, if it's your number one movie, regardless, whatever your opinion is, you're going to have a good-ass time. That's all I can say. You're going to laugh. You might get jumped at a couple points, and regardless, you're going to have a good time. And everybody who has seen it, who purchased it, or was there in the AMC movie theater when it premiered, I have revamped the movie. It has a new opening. It is remixed with sound design and music. I have upgraded it based on the feedback that I got. So check this thing out June 12th.
It'll be a new experience for everybody.
It'll be a brand new experience. Yes, it's my first feature film, and as we start to wind down here, what is like a memory of this Do Not Watch This Film production that you're always going to remember? Because you were there for like every single day, you no skip.
Yeah.
As we enter this tunnel.
I know.
I can't believe we did this whole podcast in a road trip. Hopefully the audio is okay.
Oop, motorcycle. I feel like the thing that I automatically think of is the TV exploding, because I feel like that
Really?
was such a moment and such a risk. And
I took a lot of risks. Like she said, we were in short sleeves and everything. I had a piece of glass fly out and cut my arm. I was bleeding all down my arm and everything. She shook her head at me so hard when I came up with my arm all bloodied up. Oh my god. So the TV explosion is the most memorable for you.
Yeah, what about you?
That's tricky.
I know.
I always wind up thinking about that fight scene. Just because it was so visceral, and Sal's performance as Arnie was so great. And the way that it all culminates and it's cross-cut with that other scene.
Yeah.
It's very memorable. I mean, it all culminates on New Year's Eve at midnight. So it's pretty much, it's a big crescendo. And choreographing that fight was really fun for me. But also I think about filming in the comic shop. The fact that we had an actual location in the outlets of that mall.
Yeah.
We never were able to do that before. That was a first time thing.
That was.
And that was my mindset going into this movie. It was like, if we're doing a feature, we got to upgrade our sets.
Yeah.
You know, we can't just film in these houses. We got to get practical effects, practical sets. And we did both of those things. So I'm very proud and I'm very happy to share this movie with everybody. So,
Ditto.
we did it. All right. I hope you guys enjoyed this podcast. I hope the audio was okay. Like I said, we are on a little road trip right now. I thought we would record a little podcast to be productive so I can get a pod out this Sunday. But yeah, I guess that's where we're going to leave it. Thanks for listening. Check out Do Not Watch This Film, June 12th. Okay, bye.